Hi everyone. We are going live and Marjorie is joining us on our this conversation and I'm excited to have her here. We're just going to wait for her for 1 second. Sorry, I'm getting all these messages. Hello, beautiful.
Hi, Jenny. Hi, everybody. It's great to be here.
I'm so excited to see you. Hi, Lindsay. Hi, Zozo. Sweet, my
Hi,
little girl.
Zoe. Hi, Tammy.
I love it. I love it. Oh, this is awesome. This is so
Hi,
awesome.
Lynn.
Aw, yay. We would have been on our lifestyle retreat at Red Mountain Resort and Spa. And yeah, because today is Thursday, we would have been on our first day.
Yeah.
And Marjorie would have been giving us some awesome, informative lessons. The whole retreat was the focus is mindfulness. So mindful living, mindful consumption, mindful habits. And so today I'm going to do a little, I guess, interview with Marjorie. And we're going to talk about meditation practices, the different ones, so that each of you can kind of create your own. And it's such a great time to talk about that.
Totally.
And yeah, and then the other topics we're hoping to go over today is all the different cleanses we could be doing. I know when this whole thing started, the last thing on my mind was doing any sort of cleanse. It was like the opposite.
I
What can
think
I?
that's true for most of us. Just being at home more, it's just natural. You're just like in the kitchen, you're near the kitchen all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah. I was like on a baking frenzy, and but I feel like I'm getting ready. And then we're gonna go over some beautiful self-care practices. I've learned so much from Marjorie over the last several years, and she's become a dear, dear friend. And I love these practices. They're so healthy, they're so soothing, and these are the times to do it. I just really quick will show you. I brought this. It's my stress relief true botanicals. It's like a yummy like lavender roll
Yeah.
thing that you can do, and it like it calms me down. So that's a little self-care
I
indulgence right
love,
now.
I love the roll-ons because it's a little bit diluted already.
Yeah.
And when we have it's called neat, when you have just a dropper, it's much more concentrated. So I love the roll-ons. But lavender in particular is very settling and very relaxing. So it's wonderful to do before sleep. And
Hmm.
I talk a lot about sleep in my programs and in my private teaching, and it's really one of the best easy things that you can do to sleep better, in addition to meditating.
Yes. So do you want to talk about there's so many different forms of meditation,
Yeah,
and I think everyone needs to kind of find what works for them in their life and what resonates for them. I've done many different types, and
hmm,
I get sort of stuck on one at a given time in my life, and that becomes sort of the one I'm doing.
yeah,
But if you could talk to our group about like the different types of meditations that are out there, that would be
for sure.
amazing.
And I'd love to hear in the comments, like if you guys are meditating, if you've tried it, what kinds that you like.
Yes.
I, like Jenny, have done many different meditations over the years. And when the first thing that I want to say is that you can't do meditation wrong. Like a lot of people say, I
Mhm.
can't meditate because my mind stops going.
Right.
My mind won't stop. And that's a natural response.
Hmm.
But that's not the idea of meditation. The idea of meditation is not to stop the thoughts,
Right.
but to be aware of the thoughts. And every time we notice that we're thinking and not focusing on the breath and or focusing on what I'm going to share now, that's the meditation. That's the awareness, because we can take that into our daily life about our thoughts, about our actions, about our reactions.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll talk about a couple. I mean, there are so many, and we're really lucky right now that there are so many meditation apps.
Right.
And I can talk about this now. Why don't I talk about that after?
Okay.
One of the simplest ways, if you just have a couple of minutes, is just to take your hands onto your belly,
Mm-hmm.
right above your navel, and pause. And I needed to take a breath.
I need that today. Yeah.
I needed to take a breath. So breathe into your hands. So when we inhale into the belly, it's very settling to the nervous system. And it also gives our hands the ability to feel how the breath is entering the body. And it's this exchange of energy. So this is one of the simplest things, is just to place your hands on your belly. You can say, I'm going to do 10 breaths. You can put a timer on for a minute or 2 minutes. That's the other misconception about meditation, that it has to be 20 minutes or 15 minutes or even 5 minutes.
Right.
A meditation can be a couple of deep breaths that's just centering you and starting you. So this is one, and let's take 2 deep breaths together. So you're going to inhale through the nose into your hands, and exhale through the nose, drawing the navel towards the spine. And inhale again into your hands, and exhale. And just that simple act of meditation. Like, can you hear how my voice kind of settled a little bit?
Yeah, it feels
just
so
brings
good.
us down into our body. When we're not settled, when we're anxious, we breathe into our chest, and
Yes.
that exacerbates our fight or flight response.
Exactly. I also love, I remember on one of your retreats in Costa Rica that I attended, you talked a lot about, and this has always been something that I did sort of naturally, but then I realized, is when you just put your hand on your chest, and then one hand on your chest and one hand kind of at your stomach, and say you're like lying down sort of like a in Shavasana,
Yeah.
and you just kind of hold yourself, that can be a really wonderful grounding practice. So if you're feeling a little just like flustered and life's got you like spinning, to just kind of hold yourself and know that you're safe and you're protected, and there's something really grounding about that. And I think with what's going on in the world, I really keep saying that this is like a global grounding. It's like teaching us all to take a breath and pause and look at what's going on in the world. And so I've had to do that a lot more, just to sort of stay grounded, stay in myself.
Yeah, for sure. And there is something that's very grounding about lying on the ground, or lying flat in bed, because your whole body is supported. And when we're standing, it's only our feet that are on the ground. When we're sitting, it's a little bit more. And also lying flat on the belly can also be a very settling way. So if you're really feeling kind of spun out, or there's a lot of things to do, a lot of people in your house now, just lie on your belly, place your forehead right on your hands, and take a few deep breaths like that. And lying on the belly is really nice because you feel the belly moving into the floor. You get that feedback as well. So thanks for that.
I think that's so awesome, because I think what's so cool about a lot of these practices that you teach is that it's just super accessible. Like, we all have this just in our home, or walk away to a quiet space. Like, it's also accessible. And I think we are always like reaching for something else to like solve the problem when it's right there within us.
Yes. Yes. And it's free.
And it's free, and
you
it's
don't need anything
beautiful
to put your hands on your belly and watch the breath. And that's the beautiful thing about the meditations that focus on the breath, which I love, is because it's always with you, and you don't have to be sitting in a particular place. You don't need a lot of time. You can breathe anywhere. Even if you're like on a Zoom call or on a meeting, when you're listening, just place your hands on your belly.
I love that one. That's an easy one.
Yeah. Another one that, and welcome to everyone that's joining us. I'm
Yeah,
Marjorie
welcome.
Nass joining. Thank you, Jenny, for having me. And we're talking about some awareness and meditation practices and some self-care practices for during this time. So in addition to the breath, one of the, I really love sound meditations, and you don't have to be anywhere special, but it just brings you into your senses. And as you close your eyes, you know, there's so much stimulus, and just about, I mean, there isn't anyone who's not on Zoom now more.
Right.
From from you to like an accountant to like everybody's on Zoom as a yoga teacher.
Yes.
So we're on the computer more, so our eyes are looking, and it's different than talking in a meeting where there's a room. It's like you're
Right.
just talking at the little screen with the, you know, people that are thumbnail size. So
Yes.
I like to do the meditations with closed eyes right now, focused on sound. So let's do that for a moment. Place your hands wherever you like, belly, one on the belly, one on the chest, hands face down. And I'm going to stop talking for a moment, and you'll open your ears to what the sound is around you. And when you're ready, start to come back. Jenny, what did you notice? What did you hear?
Well, I've got my pods in, so I was kind of hearing this like just like a buzzing noise, but it kind of sounded like little birdies. But yeah, so it's just I honestly I just really enjoyed the quiet. The you know that there isn't it just made me think that when you can, I mean that's the beauty of the meditation when you can pause and just enjoy that space, that quiet space,
Exactly.
how detoxifying that is for our minds, our hearts, everything. So I think I mean, that is the benefit of of a meditation practice is to create space in your mind to allow the blessings and the knowledge and everything you want to absorb to kind of come into your life. So,
Yeah, and to be more present to
mm,
everybody, to everyone in your life. Because when we're
yeah,
more aware of the breath, we become more present. You know, I've been doing this for over 20 years, and people that I don't know that well, or people that I do know well, they're like, oh, there's that big breath that Marjorie takes, because it's just unconscious. But
yeah,
when I listened, I actually heard birds. I heard actual birds,
cool.
and I heard a car driving by. But I find that that takes me out of myself, just focusing
Mm,
on
yeah,
sound. And again, that can be just so simple. So I
yeah,
think those are two options that are great to start with. And
yep,
I'd love to
I
hear
agree.
what people noticed when they were listening. If you didn't have earphones on, what sounds did you notice?
Here,
You can put in the chat, and let me know
yeah.
if you tried it.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, so cleanses, Marjorie.
Yeah.
You do a lot of great programs where you coach people through different cleanses.
Yes.
Um, and you know I'm like a little cleansing queen myself. So, can you tell us about those practices and those cleanses
Yeah.
and what's sort of involved? And then I'll tell you guys what I'm going to be doing, which I'm going to do in May,
Yeah.
like beginning of May, which I'm a little nervous about, but I'll tell you about it.
Okay. So cleansing is actually a really innate human, not practice, but you know, as evolution happened, like people weren't eating 3 meals a day. Human
Hmm.
beings weren't eating all the time. There
Hmm.
were, you know, there were times of a lot of food, and there were times of less food. And that's really helpful for our digestion. For most people, they're not just eating 3 meals a day, but they're also snacking in between. And
Right.
what happens is that the digestion never gets a rest.
Hmm.
It's working really hard. So when we take that time, whether it's just making more space in between meals,
Hmm.
or taking a break. Dempsey's joining me.
Aw.
Taking a break, and lightening up for a few days. It
Hmm.
gives our digestion a break. We can digest more deeply toxins that are built up from so many things, from eating too much, fill in the blank, you know what that is for
Mm-hmm.
you, and just from kind of eating constantly and from eating at
Right.
the wrong time. So
Mm-hmm.
Ayurveda, which means science of life and is the wellness branch of yoga, teaches cleansing as part of a regular routine.
Mm-hmm.
And generally, we align it with the change of the seasons. So some people do it 4 times a year. The onset of spring and the onset of fall are the two general times that I do them. And I've been doing that for about 20 years as well.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many ways to do it. And there are, you'll benefit if you do it for a couple of days. Some deeper ones are 3 weeks, which is a
Mm-hmm.
lot. The way that I usually teach it in my 3-month program is that we prepare for a week, then we do the cleanse, a deeper cleanse for a week, and then we transition, because the transition
Mm-hmm.
is part of the cleanse. And we can't go over every detail right now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what I'm doing right now is a free 21-day program, and we're doing a 3-day cleanse within that. And there's a
That's
very
awesome.
simple, people can still join that. There is a very simple food in Ayurveda that's called khichdi.
Right.
And it's very ancient. It's very easy to make. It's just mung beans, which are the easiest bean to digest, rice, vegetables,
Basmati rice, right?
basmati rice white.
It's
That's exactly
delicious.
right.
It's
It's so
delicious.
delicious. And it's the easiest to digest. That's why we
Yeah.
don't use brown rice, because we're trying to give the digestion a break and just eat very light things. And then it has Indian spices, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you add vegetables and sometimes you don't, depending on how deep you want to go. And it's what's called a mono diet. So you're eating
Mm-hmm.
that for
3 meals
two
a
or
day.
three meals a day, depending on how many meals you eat. No snacking, and that's about it. So you can do that for 3 days. You can do that for one day. I taught this 3-day program in January, and we did the first day with vegetables, the second day just khichdi, and then back to vegetables the third day. And then we have a transition day. I think that's one of the misguided things about cleansing, is that it's like a juice cleanse
Yeah.
or a water cleanse. And
Right.
cleansing is just, stepping away, eating a little bit less, and noticing when you're hungry.
Yeah, and I know, and cleansing is challenging, and I think a lot of people struggle because it brings stuff up. I mean, and that's sort of the part of the cleanse I think that everyone just like doesn't want to deal with. And so like it seems like it's not a diet. It has nothing to do with dieting. It really is about just like giving your body a break and making space. And I've had such amazing sort of like psychological things happen after a cleanse where now it's like when I feel stuck or blocked in any capacity, I'm like, it's time to cleanse, because that's when I really kind of make sense of everything that's going on and recover. And to take a moment where like food isn't the only focus in your life, because there's so much that is around food and it's wonderful and beautiful. I love food. I'm like a huge foodie. But to take a break from it and realize that there's other things in life that are also super enjoyable and beautiful, like being outside or walking or just being with your family and not being so consumed by meal preparation and eating and food all day long. So I think that's part of, why it becomes like a really wonderful mindful practice to integrate cleansing during the seasons. Like what I loved is Marjorie, we're always like, oh, cleansing in January and cleansing in, was it like October? Those are, I don't remember, but like they're not the times that we're actually supposed to be cleansing. We should be cleansing during the seasonal,
Yeah.
the season change. And when I started doing that, I noticed even deeper results, because you, we're kind of working with nature's rhythms, and so we cleanse at the right time, and you feel it. It's totally normal and natural to want to, for your body to sort of crave that cleanse after 6 months of a different kind of buildup. So the cleanse I'm doing, you guys,
Can I just
I've,
follow up on a couple
yeah,
of things that you
please.
said before?
Yes.
One is about the decision fatigue that comes around food. Should I
Yes.
eat this? Should I eat that? What what am I going to have to shop for? That's the best thing about khichdi. You cook it
Yeah.
once. You either cook it the night before or the morning, and you have all your food for the day. So you
Yes.
only have to cook. I know we're home and there are other people to cook for, but you
Yeah.
only have to make that. And some people you know, their kids love it. I'm not saying the kids are cleansing, but their partner, or some older kids might love it, and they can do it together. The other thing, one more thing I just wanted to follow up on was what you said about the emotions coming up. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, when we're cleansing, we're getting rid of waste. And the
Mm-hmm.
body holds on to waste in many different ways. Sometimes it's excess weight.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's just not digesting completely. And you'll know
Right.
that when you go to the bathroom. And
Yep.
sometimes it's through emotions. I totally agree with that, especially the
Mm-hmm.
longer cleanses, because you go to deeper and deeper levels. And then I remember once I was in the third week of a 3-week cleanse, and I started crying,
Mm.
like, you know, just at nothing. Like I was teary, you know, watching,
Yeah.
you know, seeing something or having a conversation with somebody. So that's absolutely true. And it's like releasing what's
Yes.
no longer needed.
Yes. I love that. I love this whole conversation around cleansing because I think it's so powerful. And I also love to when I do my closet cleanses for people, I love it to pair it when they're cleansing because they have a little more
Mm,
energy to go through their closets and clean things out, or if you're like just doing sort of a seasonal house edit to make space. So kind of pairing those practices, it's like spring cleaning with a cleanse is a very powerful tool that everyone can do. It's like hit that garage, hit whatever projects in your kids' rooms, but do it while simultaneously during the cleanse is really powerful, transformational practice.
exactly. And just like you're going to switch your clothes about what you wear, you know, evolutionarily, we're changing what we eat. If we're aligning with the seasons, we're going to eat most of what is grown around us. So that's going to change from the winter
Right,
and what's available to what's more available in the spring, like
right.
asparagus.
Yeah, exactly. So that's one. I love the Kitchery. I've done the Kitchery cleanse, and it's actually making me rethink the one I'm about to tell you about. I did. Okay, so this is an amazing book. It's called The Clarity Cleanse by Habib Sadeghi, and I absolutely love this guy. I mean, this is an amazing book, and everyone should really read it. And he does a cleanse, and it's called the 10-day intentional unsaturated diet plan. And basically, it's pretty intense. It's a 10-day plan, and you can get this book and read about it. But you eat sardines, apples, and brown rice, and super clean foods. And it's a diet that it's a cleanse where you're omitting things that are inflammatory and allergy related, like no nuts, a lot of things. So you do get to eat fruits and vegetables. There's food, so it's not like you're not eating. And then some days you're not eating meat, and some days you are. Some like on the list, and you have one day it's a whole fast day. But you're not having caffeine, alcohol, all of the normal things you wouldn't have during a cleanse. But it's really powerful. And earlier this year, I did Prolon. Have you heard of that one, Marjorie? The
Nope.
Prolon one? Um, and that was a really great cleanse also. But I think I was but it was all like packaged stuff. So I think my body is just craving something a little bit deeper after all that's gone on. And so I got my husband on board, and we're going to do the sardine, apples, and brown rice cleanse.
So you're eating the sardines and apples and brown rice every day in addition to some other things?
So actually, it's actually just it's broken out in 10 days. So like for instance, on like day one, you're eating anything from all poultry, all fish and shellfish, vegetables. Day two, you have anything from those categories. The actual sardines, apples, and brown rice are like kind of like 3 days in the middle of the
Okay.
cleanse, where that's the only thing. And then like say at the end, you kind of are similar to what you do. It's like there's an integration,
Right.
like then there's the hard days of those 3 or 4 plus the fast day, and then the the sort of re-entry part of the cleanse. But it's all so clean. And 10 days is a long time, and I remember doing this like 2 years ago, and it was powerful. It was powerful. And I mean, you could probably speak a little bit better to the ingredients, because I think it is similar to the kitchery. Like there's the like what the sardines have in them, what the
Yeah.
apples and the brown rice. Like there's something about it, just like in us that really supports and like naturally cleanses the body?
Yeah. I can't speak personally to that, but you know, any of the small bony fish are just
Right.
so full of protein and healthy fats.
Right.
So I'm sure that's why he had that. Apples are very cleansing. Like
Mm-hmm.
there are some people that do like a stewed apple, a day of stewed apples.
Mm-hmm.
It's laxative when you're having
Mm-hmm.
apples, and then the brown rice is to give you a little bit of bulk. So that's what I'm imagining. He's taking out all of the inflammatory ingredients. Like you said, it's so valuable to do for 10 days. With the kitchery, it's almost like baby food.
Yeah.
You know, in India, where Ayurveda originated, and people who still practice Ayurveda today, whenever somebody's a little bit sick,
Mm-hmm.
that's what they're eating. It's almost like as easy to digest as baby food because it's
Yeah.
kind of mushy, and
Yes.
especially when it doesn't have any vegetables in it. So you've got some protein from the mung beans. You've got the easy to digest brown rice. Ghee is the fat that we use that we cook
Mm-hmm.
in. It has it's clarified butter, so it doesn't really have dairy. It's a teeny bit of dairy, or you can use coconut oil. And that
Mm-hmm.
also helps create not a laxative effect. You're not like running to the bathroom like some of these, but just make sure you're going because, again, we
Yeah.
want to get the waste out. We want
Yeah.
to make sure things are moving.
Yeah. I love it. So yeah, I will be starting a cleanse. I was making so many sweets in the first few weeks of this quarantine that like and I was just having fun with it. There was something kind of indulgent about just being home
Totally.
and not even thinking about this stuff. But I can tell that my body's ready for something. And if anyone's interested in any cleanses or Marjorie's programs, we'll leave all the information in the comments.
Perfect.
Um, so what's next? We're going to talk about some beautiful self-care habits.
Yeah. And I just wanted to add about, you know, I've kind of had this program brewing, and I knew I didn't want to start with the cleanse like a few weeks ago because I was like, nobody can think about that right now. But
Yeah.
now I'm hearing from people my
Yeah.
digestion is off.
Yes.
I'm
Oh my
feeling
gosh, so off.
bloated. So now everybody, you know, after 5 weeks, everybody's kind
Hmm.
of ready. And it's good because it's still springtime. So
Yeah.
naturally, it's a good
It's
time
so
to do it.
it's so natural. When you get
Yeah.
in touch with your body and the rhythms, like your body talks to you. It tells you. It's like I'm ready. I'm ready for like a cleanse. It's spring. Like this is what's happening in the world. And
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
it's a good feeling.
So the one self-care practice, I mean, there are so many, but the
So
one that
many.
I've really adopted over the last 10 years that I never miss is an Ayurveda oil massage. And
Hmm.
this is also traditional, and we can't get massages right now.
Hmm.
I, you know, send my love to all the massage therapists out there.
Yeah.
I know these are tough times. Rosie, we love you.
I know.
And hopefully, you know, that will start changing soon. But
Yeah.
when we can't get a massage, and if you are living with another person, they could give you a massage, which is nice. But if you don't, and just something to do on a regular basis is to use an oil massage, to do an oil massage. Now, this traditionally is done before you bathe. And I know
Hmm.
this is very different than lotion. So you're doing it before you bathe. Number one, to really like get the oil, and I'm like pressing, you get the oil like really to into your body. And like you said about the cleanse, you're getting to know your body. You're getting to know when you're hungry. And
Hmm.
the translation of the word abhyanga is actually love or self-love. So
Mm.
it's like a very loving thing. You get to know like every inch of your body. It can be like a little uncomfortable at first to be
Yeah.
like giving yourself a full body oil massage. When
Yes.
we do it before a shower or a bath, and then you put the oil on, and then you're going into the shower bath, the pores are opening from the heat, and then it's actually more moisturizing, and it creates a barrier between you and the outside world. So it's like a little protective bubble that we do. The reason that we use sesame oil, number one, is because anything that you put on your skin is going directly into your bloodstream. So it's
Mm-hmm.
actually detoxified less than what you're eating, which goes through all our
Mm-hmm.
organs, our
Mm-hmm.
digesting organs.
Mm-hmm.
So you could eat sesame oil. So it's like you're literally putting on your skin what you could eat.
Mm-hmm.
Sesame oil in itself is for people who have drier skin and who tend to run cold. So
Mm-hmm.
the whole part of the science of Ayurveda is very specific and how the elements live in your body. And that's a whole nother conversation.
Right.
But if
That
you
is a whole
tend
nother
to run
conversation.
cold and dry, sesame is the ticket. If you tend to run a little hot, and especially as it gets into the summer months, you can use coconut oil.
Mm-hmm.
And also we eat coconut oil, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's the same idea. People say, can I get this? This is the coconut oil. Yes, you can get it at the supermarket. Sesame oil is generally toasted at the supermarket, and you can also get some that's food grade. I like to order, and we can put this in the comments as well. A company called Banyan Botanicals.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's organic, everything's ethically sourced. And that's where I've been getting my products for years. They do have some oils that are infused with some Ayurvedic herbs. Those tend to have a little bit more of a smell, but you can get refined sesame oil, which has no smell.
I love it. And there's so many self-care practices, and I just know from my own experience, like it's so overwhelming. There's so many things, and you're like, when am I going to have time to do all of these things? And I just think, start with one thing and
Exactly.
see and until it becomes a habit, and then you can kind of grab another thing, and if it nourishes you and makes you feel good, grab another thing. And I think it's just that self-love of like, I'm worth it and I deserve this because, as women, we're givers and we're pleasers and we're doing things for others, and it's natural to us to want to be that. And just reminding yourself to make that extra time for you, if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, because it's in those practices where you're going to be able to give more of yourself to all those people that you love. And these are self-care practices, not selfish practices. They are to, keep you alive longer, healthier, more vibrant. And I do not do all of them. I do some of them, and there's just so many. So I definitely suggest going on one of Marjorie's retreats or our lifestyle retreat where you learn a little bit more about all the different practices. I recently got a dry brush and a lymphatic um, brush. Have I used it? No, but I'm planning to. So
Yeah, that's a
you're
great one
inspiring
too.
me.
But
Yeah.
what you said about self-care, Jenny, was so beautifully put. Self-care is for yourself. It's not selfish, because when we take care of ourselves, especially as women,
Yeah.
we have more to offer to others. And when we don't take this time, we're depleted. And it's like
Yeah.
an oil massage. You can do it for 10 minutes, but you can do it for 2 minutes before
Mm-hmm.
you take a
Yeah.
shower.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's like a barrier. And, all these practices, and every time we do this, we have to remember that this is for the long term. And,
Right.
increasing our immunity, supporting our immunity. That's one of the other main things that
Yeah.
meditation and a cleanse can really do. Hey, Barb.
Yeah. You guys, thank you all so much for joining us. Marjorie, is there anything else you want to add in before we sign off?
I'd love to. Well, thank you so much for the opportunity and to meet all of you guys. I love talking to Jenny. She's actually going to hop over on my account next week as we are in the cleanse. So this is part of a longer program that I'm doing. It's called Pain Free and Energized at Home for while we are at home. And
Mm-hmm.
there's live yoga classes, which are all recorded. And then each week I give one practice. This past week, we worked on one step to get better sleep. This Friday, which is tomorrow, I'm going to be talking about preparing for the cleanse and a little bit more about this Khichdi cleanse, which we'll do next week. And then the following week, we will continue with a yoga class and one self-care tip. So you can go to marjorienass.com. There's a / stay pain-free and energized at home. And there are some dashes, so I'm going to put it in the comments so you guys can find it, and I'll comment on Jenny's page or something with it. I should have had that, but it's hard to put in those URLs with the dashes. And I also offer individual coaching online, yoga and lifestyle coaching. So if you're interested in that, just send me a DM and we'll set up a time to talk. Oh, that's what you can do. That's easier. If you go to my profile, which you'll see here now, in my profile is the direct link to register for the program.
Awesome. I love that you're doing that. You're offering this amazing free program for everyone so they can do all this at home. It's so sweet of you. And you're amazing. I love you. And thank you for sharing your wisdom with us. I have learned so much from you. And just feel like our purposes are so aligned, and I can't wait to be at Red Mountain Resort and Retreat with you in 2021.
Yes.
It looks like that's probably what it's going to be.
Yeah.
And any of you that want to learn more about that retreat or any of my closet editing sort of lifestyle services, you can go to pinklagoon.com or also DM me. And it's one of my favorite things to talk about is lifestyle. And these are definitely parts of that, so that we are kind of radiating from the inside out. It's so much more than putting on a pretty outfit at the end of the day. So love you, babe.
Love you so much. I can't wait to give you a real hug in person.
I know.
But I'm glad I can see your shining face, and I will see you soon. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy. We will see you soon. Bye.
Bye.